see. I'm gonna try to get into this next topic. And like I said, this is something I've dealt with. I know people dealt with plenty, and I won't, I'm gonna probably go to Sheehan Bay first. So Sheehan Bay, the next topic is how do we deal with depression? Because, like I said, I've dealt with it. Not only did I lose my mother at an early age, she was actually murdered, shot. So, and it did send me into a phase of depression where I know I turned to drinking more. I even started smoking weed. So, and this is one thing I see Dr. Umar deal with a lot. It's real. Depression amongst blacks. We don't run and seek help for it. We just turn to the streets or drugs. So, Sheehan Bay, how do we deal with depression, brother?
Well, can you hear me pretty well?
Yes, sir.
Well, I would like to say that, first of all, I think I dealt with depression myself to a certain degree. My mom passed away when I was like 12 years old, and then I had a daughter that passed away here recently, and then I got another daughter that seemed to be going through some depression. The thought that I had on it was, motivation. I mainly asked myself, the way I came out of it, I kind of dug myself out of it by thinking, just meditating on what it was I was going through. And when I found out that I needed to go back and find a happy place in my life, in other words, I had to find a time in my life when I actually was happy. And then I had to figure out what made me happy. And I had to really dig deep on the thought process as to how and what made me happy at that time. And then once I did that, I had to literally just sit down and write short-term goals and long-term goals. And on a second by second, minute by minute, day by day, week by week battle. The battle was second, minute, days, like that. I built myself back up in that way on the goals, setting the goals, or doing something that would gear me towards that happiness again, to gear me towards what feeling I needed to continue to motivate myself. And then, of course, being around positive people that helped extremely around positive people. The last thing I want to say about depression is that I was listening to a documentary. This woman, her name, I think her name was Joy LaGrue or Joy DeRue or something of that nature. She was dealing with something called post-traumatic, I think she called it post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Slave syndrome.
Something of that nature, yeah. And she was bringing out how that we are a sick people. Predominantly because we really don't, what we think is normal is not healthy. In other words, we've been dealt with so harshly, and then we still continue to have to live with damaged people and learning things from damaged people, and then perpetuate that damage throughout generation after generation. Whether it be like Adama said, whether it be through the eating habits, that's the main thing, the eating habits, but through the actions, the way we conduct ourselves amongst each other, in other words, the way we literally socialize with each other, the way we communicate with each other, all of these all of these aspects of our lives have been damaged, but we think it's normal. And I think what happens in depression is we get to a point where we don't know what's wrong, but we know something damn sure wrong, but we just can't damn figure it out. And I think that the not knowing what's going on is causing the depression. In other words, what's wrong with me, or what's wrong with this situation? It's something I don't know, and I don't know what I don't know. And I believe it breaks you down to a point where you're not prospering, you're not going in the direction you want to go in, and it brings on a chemical change in your mind, and then you just basically just depressed. But that's basically what I have to say about that.
All right. Any volunteers or Zeke you want to speak, or anyone, ladies?
Zeke, and cause you pretty much you know what done happened with me in my lifetime, and I think we all at some point in time.
Zeke, I know what happened to you, but a lot of people gonna see this, and this is what we're trying to do, help a lot of people by putting that information out. It's not just you. Brother said he lost his mom at 12, so speak on a little bit. You ain't got to go in deep.
Yeah, no, I'm speaking on it, but I was gonna say, I think we all go through some sort of depression in our life, and like I said, on my side, my mama died when I was 9 years old. Really didn't meet my dad until I was about 10 years old, and just growing up, kind of always feeling left out. And I was the second oldest. My oldest brother was in prison. Went to prison when he was 15 years old, and I was forced to be, I believe, be an adult at a real young age, because I had to deal with a lot of adult things and learn how to live accordingly, with what might have went on around me and things that I might have found myself in. But like Shinbei said, when you're going through depression, it's good to know what it is that you're going through, and that'll best help you learn how to deal with it. Like I said, I've never talked to anybody professionally or nothing like that, because I always thought of myself as a strong-minded person, and I can, with what I've been through, I can deal with anything. So, and that's kind of bad, because I never really allowed myself to let nobody in, to get real close to me, because fearing that I might get hurt, or something might happen, or something along that nature. Like as soon as you start giving people trust, that's when they start messing up. So just always living like you gotta watch everybody all the time and things like that. That's depression. Like it's something wrong with that if you look at it like that, because like I say, everybody at some point in time go through some type of depression, and I can't say I'm cured of depression, because I still go through it. Certain things nowadays in my life, and I say it seems like every time you feel like you're kind of climbing out, and my experience, something else happened, because at a young age I had to, like I said, grow up, and deal with a lot of adult things. When I graduated high school, I got kicked out the house like that summer, like not even a month out of school. you know. Then coming over here, my oldest brother got out of prison, bring me over here. You know, we hanging, you know, everything going good, and, you know, he get killed, you know, just, and then everything, you know, I'm boom, 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 all the way back down. And like I say, it's hard. It's hard. It's a day-to-day struggle when you're dealing with depression. It's just like I said, I think it's everyday life. It's just that once you figure out what it is, it's easy to deal with. But it's not like some of the stuff still won't be there. Like it's something that I think will stick with you pretty much all the time. I don't know if I need to talk to somebody, or you know, if it may be even anybody out there that can help me. But at the same time, you know, that's my spiel, and
all right,
I know, like I said.
Go ahead. But yeah, I'm gonna let one of these ladies go. Chamiri, I'm gonna let you go. Then I'm gonna let Renita go. Go ahead, Chamiri.
Hello, everybody. So there are a couple things that I wanted to touch on when it comes to depression. What the sister was talking about when we were speaking about homosexuality, and she had mentioned about your consumption, you know, that has a huge impact on how your body and your mind works. So I had actually attempted suicide back in 2009. No, in 2008. And I would have succeeded if no one had found me laying unconscious in a hallway. Now, when I did that, there wasn't anything that I could think of that would cause me to feel so hopeless and desperate for death. But I was taking a number of prescriptions for pain management and also muscle tension, and I was taking them according to the prescription. And of course, you know, everything has their side effects, and some of the side effects on there were suicidal thoughts, and it didn't make any sense to me, but all I knew is that I wanted to die. So I do agree with the sister, you know, you need to pay attention to what you're eating, because that can affect how your brain works. I mean, when you think about mad cow disease, that is, you know, cows started acting really crazy because they were eating cow meat, and that's not part of their diet. So when we start to feel low or something other than your normal low, if that makes any sense, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is check your diet. It could be a reaction. It could be a side effect of something that you're consuming, as it was for me. But recently I had fallen back into a deep depression, and this brings me to my second point, is that my neighbor's problem is my problem. And I was feeling, you know, really upset about things that were happening in my life, but I really sunk really low when I realized that my problems mattered to no one but me, and realizing that I can't live this life without my neighbors, without my brothers and my sisters. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the village is absent. And I'm not saying that is what led to me feeling so depressed. I'm just saying that it takes a village just to live, period. And when you feel alone, and that doesn't help. So I honestly believe that another way to combat depression is to make your neighbor's problems your problems too. When your brother or your sister is showing signs of depression, which isn't always crying or, you know, isolating yourself. Sometimes it can be overactive sex drive, or I don't know, giving things away. I know that was something that I had did recently, and I didn't notice that I was doing it until after it was done. So we need to be able to recognize depression, and we need to be able to recognize some of the potential sources. Yes, and Yvette traumatic events can trigger depression, but it doesn't help when you're not feeding your body what it needs to survive. When you're feeding yourself poison, it doesn't just affect your circulatory system or your digestive system, it also affects your nervous system, the way you think. And something that you can handle turns into something that you can't handle, and then here you are, about ready to die, or just don't care about life, or you're contemplating giving your kids up for adoption. I laugh because I was there. So, those are the 2 points. Making your brother or sister's problems your problems too, and also paying attention to what you eat.
All right, wow, some nice information. Boo, Calvin, you want to speak on this, eh? You gotta unmute your
talking to me?
Yeah, you can go, Chamira. I'm gonna come back to Calvin. Go, Chamira.
Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all was saying some real good stuff. I just want to go back and touch up on something Brother Sheen Bay said. He said it's something generational. And when we look at this thing as a whole, we just supposedly got out of slavery. And there's a lot of healing that needs to go on in our community. A lot of healing. And it's not just, I hear stories of real drastic stories. I mean, y'all been through some tough lives, and I myself, I haven't been through a tough life on those type of grounds. I can't say, but I can say I've been depressed. And when I hear y'all talk, I'll be like, man, I was, why was I depressed? And I realized the depression, like Sheen Bay say, it's a community thing, collectively. Any person in their right mind would come to understand why Black people are depressed and are in their demise. And for me, the only way I could get out of that is through knowledge of self, right? Because if you know your history, and if you know Black people, where we really, really, truly came from, and I mean Mexicans too, I include the minority when I say Black people, any people of pigmentation. When we really grasp that we came from royalty, I mean, owning the riches and the wealth of the land that we were on, which I identify with being called the land of Israel, it would be really understandable. I understand why the Black man today is what they call so mad. Why is he not depressed? In my opinion, more Black people need to be depressed, because if them Negroes was depressed and mad enough on the plantation, they would have got their ass up off that plantation. And excuse me if you guys get offended, I cuss, but it's not I'm trying to work on that. But you know what I'm saying? Depression is something, like I said, I'm still learning how to deal with it in a way that can benefit the community, and that the only way through that is knowledge, right? Because I'm gonna give you an example. I know a girl who fought physically. She was so mad at a person in her family that was being molested. She fought physically for it, and now she being charged in court, et cetera, because the white man says you can't hit nobody, et cetera, et cetera. So the only way I feel like she could have really impacted is by, pretty much shaming this person's image through public media. For example, calling out his name, saying this person is a rapist, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just a form of spreading knowledge on that particular problem in the community. So today, I think one way to deal with depression is just know your history, because it empowers you. You won't have a problem with white people being racist when you understand what true racism is and where you come from. Because a lot of times the Black man naturally, and understandably so, but we have to understand, we naturally just trying to kind of amount up to the white man. And when we understand that we are born so much more than him, just right off bat, that will heal us psychologically over time. You understand? It's a mental thing. It's how you view yourself every day. You have to view these people as dogs. You know, that's why it goes back to also why I say, can you build with a homosexual? Because at the end of the day, that is a product of the white man. He's trying every day to kill the image and tarnish the true warrior of our black men. So how can you build with a homosexual if that is the product of what the white man put down for us? You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
All right, the sister, you didn't give your name earlier, 678-760? Adama, okay. What state you in?
I'm in Georgia.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Like you said, how to deal with depression?
Well, I think the major thing for us is to understand that under a system of oppression, I mean that's the whole point that we're dealing with here. All right, so that we have to really begin to nourish ourselves. All right, so that the more we spend time barefoot, you spend time barefoot with the earth and in the sun and get charged, because our life, the way that we live now, is that we're not really outside the way we used to be. All right, and when you look at indigenous and native cultures and whatnot, they build round, but their lifestyles were outside. And so the sun, we're literally in the atmosphere of the presence of God. So that the way that we center ourselves, the way that we manage ourselves, particularly a people who understand they're being warred against, we have to really go back to God. You understand? It has to be what we reach for, not the church. Going into the church is not the same thing as reaching for God, reaching for the truth. You know, and then reaching for the company of other ones who you know are upful, who are positive and whatnot. But most of the issues that we're having is as a result of deficiency. I drove down to West Palm Beach this Wednesday night at midnight, and I had to be on air Thursday night at midnight. And I went down there to get a sister out of the mental institution there at JFK Medical Center. And she had been there for maybe about 10, 12 days. And they're just shooting her up with meds. And she asked for a vegetarian plate, and they wouldn't give it to her. And when I went in there, I said, I've come for such and such a person. And they said, oh, well, we are not expecting to release her. And I said, look, I drove 8 hours to come and get her. I'm not leaving here without her. Whoever I need to talk to and whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to get on the road so I can be there for my radio show tonight. Right? And so it took a minute. But, I had to present myself. And anytime I deal with hospitals, you understand that there's a thought, there's a mindset that people have about us as black people, that we are ignorant and that we are not aware of certain things. But the bottom line is that there were women. I didn't even see any men. I only saw women that were there. Now the issue for us in terms of how do we heal ourselves, the sisterhood has to raise completely up, because everywhere there's the man with the womb, there should be a center of love and light and wisdom and truth. But we have been educated not to know and to give our authority away, that we should not be going to white men and white institutions and a white Western mentality for anything relating to our health. But we do that. But now, in order to get balance, we got to get back into Mother Earth, the live food, plant-based diet, and serious cleansing, because the healing will happen with the cleansing. So we're talking knowing that our bodies are made perfectly by the same intelligence that animates the sun, and going through the process of really phasing off of any meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, fish, anything that comes from animals. Because we're a sensitive people. We're a right-brained people. So that when we have a lot of blockage and obstruction in our lungs and our organs and our sinuses and whatnot. It blocks and obstructs our breath, and our breath is what holds us in life, so that we're not able to get the full oxygenation in if we're smoking, and then we're getting high and all of this, but then we're not getting the nutrients. So we can balance it, but you've got to really want it. You've got to really reach for fruit and vegetation and doing the things that are necessary to facilitate the cleansing, because this is what is going to give us leverage, because what will happen is that every atom and every cell of our being is always hungry and thirsty for life. We're talking air, breath, we're talking water, we're talking minerals, and we're talking opening up the system of elimination. And then the other aspect of it is that looking at the amount of degradation and torture that the chickens undergo, that any sea creature that you consume, it spent its life, the last moments of its life, traumatized. And so as living beings, that trauma, that drama, that frustration, that anguish, that angst, that fear permeates the meat of these animals, whether it's the fish or the salmon or the crab or the lobster, or it doesn't even matter what it is. So we're absorbing the etheric energy of these animals, and it's affecting us. So the cleansing and the nourishing and the praying and the committing our lives to light on behalf of our lineages is going to really give us degrees of leverage that we can't even begin to anticipate until we're in it.
Yeah, just to touch upon something you said when you said how just getting back outside again, it just made me really think how much we are inside today. And I remember, like you say, in the 90s, we was out more. I was just born in the 80s, and so on and so forth. And just the black community just seemed more alive back in the day, and something like fishing just helps me just relax. So man, that was some great information. Anybody else want to say anything to what was said, or I can keep it moving to the next topic? All right, I know two